video that is literally straight out of Revelation 13, telling people what the beast system is, what the Bible means, what the Bible is talking about when it says beast system, as it's described in Daniel chapter 7, and also there's a little bit of it, I think, in Matthew 24, and then it's perfectly described in Revelation 16, and also not Revelation 16, Revelation 17, and also Revelation 13. Revelation 13 is basically a turnkey chapter describing the beast system. The problem is that a lot of pastors over the decades have neglected the book of Revelation altogether. They've shied away from it because they've been teaching rapture doctrine, and therefore they've created the kind of church that has absolutely no expectation that it's going to be here when the events of the book of Revelation begin to play out. The problem is that the book of Revelation is playing out already, and the people are still here, but they don't recognize what they're in the middle of. And that's the distressing thing about history past and also history future. It's unfolding right in front of you, and in some distressing cases, as we are seeing now in America, it's repeating itself. But the problem is that because people don't actually know what they're watching, they think that they're watching novel events, meaning they think that they're watching brand new events. Many people in America think that the things that are happening in America are brand new. In a way, they're right. They're brand new to Americans because Americans have a certain ideology, Americans have a certain outlook, Americans have a certain expectation born of the type of nation that has been built for them and built in many cases around them like a cage. They've been led down certain paths of thought. They've been led down certain paths of interactions with their government, with each other, with their economy, with their socio-economic system. And therefore, there's a certain mindset, there's a certain expectation of a certain outcome, and then you layer on top of that religious expectations that have been, for the most part, deliberately mistaught. They've been deliberately mistaught, and then on the other hand, a lot of stuff has also been deliberately left out, and this has left, by and large, a very poorly prepared church that is now having a tantrum because Jesus Christ dares to carry out the end days in accordance with what's written in his book and not according to American expectations. So we here in this nation in particular are especially disenfranchised because the mind, the general cognition is cooked. It's expecting a certain outcome, and so historical things are happening in the country and have been for a while. It's not only now that we're in a new administration. Things have been going according to plan, according to the plan that Satan has for the future, and according to the plan that God is going to allow to happen to us who will live into the future. But people think they're watching brand new events. They think they're watching something that is puzzling, something that's very infuriating, something that doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up with the general expectation of what people are supposed to expect when you're in America. But the things that are happening in America are very historical. And so I'm going to be looking at beast system prophecies. But before I do that, I'm going to be looking at prophecies from a completely different vein that are also linked to the beast system. And that is prophecies about Nazis. The Lord is very meticulous. I covered Nazis. I had 3 Nazi prophecies from God. They were called Nazis in America. That was in May. I think that was May the 9th, 2021. And then the next one was called Lockstep. And that was May the 11th, 2021. And then this was the third one called Tanks in America, May 14, 2021. Exactly a year later, God gave me 2 prophecies again on Nazism, again in the month of May. And I didn't notice that until I was looking at them now. One was early May, I think also May 7th or May 9th, 2022. And the other was May the 20th, 2022. And I've done most of them. It's Nazis in America Part 2, Nazis in America Part 3. I've covered those, but there's one called The Return of the Nazis that I haven't yet done. And there's also this one, Tanks in America. So this introduction here is to let you know that over the next couple of weeks, these are the themes I'm going to be looking at. So it is very essential for us as Christians to know that the Bible covers themes that most of the people in the world are familiar with. But like I said, in Christianity, we are poorly taught, and we are also deliberately mistaught. And so we find ourselves at the back of the line. Things that secular people are up to date on, things that secular people are even embracing into their daily lives, Christians are also embracing into their daily lives because they don't know what God says about it. They don't see it written in black and white in the Bible anywhere. And so a lot of Christians don't actually know what are the wolves to be aware of, what are the barking dogs to be aware of, where are the pitfalls, where are the holes, where are the barriers, where are the stoplights, where is it that as we're going along, we are going to have to come to a place where there's a schism, there's a split, where we might be able to go along and blend along. And that is wisdom for a certain time, but it will come to a place where now there will have to be a separation. We will have to separate out of separate things. And it's going to come at the cost of comfort. It's going to come at the cost of serious religious persecution. It's going to come at the cost of hiding. Okay. It's going to come at the cost of silence. I was listening to one of the older prophecies, and God was saying that in the future, Christians will have to realize that this faith that they always say, I'm bold for Jesus, I'm loud for Jesus and everything, that's fine. That's because you're existing. A lot of us don't understand. It's easy to say you're bold for Jesus when you live in a country that recognizes free speech. So the average Christian is walking around and saying, hey, brother, can I pray for you? You're doing that because you take the freedom of expression and the freedom of religious expression, as well as the freedom to just approach somebody else or to have a religious gathering, to have a conference, things like that. You take these things for granted.